I'm Philip Ross, partner and co-leader of Anchin's architecture, engineering, and construction industry groups. And it's really a privilege to celebrate this milestone year with so many friends, clients, and industry partners. Many of you who are longtime supporters of this event. And we usually judge sometimes, one of the factors we judge for the event is how long it takes the crowd to sit down because of the networking. And so far, we're getting some really high marks here. So we appreciate everybody here and all the networking going on. We're proud to once again present this event in cooperation with our long-standing partners, the New York Building Congress, American Council of Engineering Companies of New York, and the Subcontractors Trade Association. Thank you very much. 20 years ago, it really doesn't seem that long ago.
You're allowed to clap for us if you want.
So 20 years ago, when we launched this event, our goal was simple. We wanted to create a space where leaders from across architecture, engineering, construction, and real estate could come together to exchange ideas, identify challenges, and chart a path forward for the industries. 2 decades later, this mission feels more relevant than ever. As we gather today, New York is at an important inflection point. With the new mayoral administration taking office, questions around zoning, policy, housing strategy, capital spending, public-private partnerships, and infrastructure prioritization are top of mind. The decisions made in the months ahead will have a meaningful impact on project pipelines, contracting opportunities, permitting efficiency, and the long-term competitiveness of the city's construction ecosystem. It's a reminder that our industry doesn't just respond to policy, we shape the city the policy is meant to serve. Over the years, we've seen New York's built environment evolve in extraordinary ways, shaped by innovation, resilience, and collaboration, from transformative infrastructure projects to the continued expansion of residential, commercial, and life science development. The city's construction sector remains one of the most vital growth engines in the region. Of course, the challenges we face today are complex. They're never easy. Interest rate questions, rising costs, uncertainty around tariffs, shifting regulations, and a tightening labor market continue to test our adaptability. But the professionals in this room have always shown what's possible with creativity, perseverance, and innovation. We also had major tax law changes during the year. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, in general, appears to be favorable for all of our industries. What a surprise. How about that? For once, we did get something that's going to be favorable for the industries. The major advantages from OBBBA are tax rates staying stable, the qualified business income deduction of 20% being made permanent, increased depreciation deductions, the state PTET deduction staying the same, and of course allowing domestic research and development expenses to be deducted currently and eliminating the requirement to capitalize these amounts. I know many of you, including the industry organizations represented here, worked hard to get this changed, and we thank you for your efforts. This morning's program will explore all of these dynamics in depth, with timely insights with some of the industry's most respected voices. We're honored to begin with a keynote address from John Fish, Chairman and CEO of Suffolk Construction, who has been a national leader in advancing innovation, technology, and workforce development within our sector. Following that, we'll hear from an outstanding panel of industry leaders moderated by Johnny Evers, President and CEO of the American Council of Engineering Companies of New York, and featuring Carlos Susura, President and CEO of New York Building Congress, Deb Awashti, Vice President of New York City Legislative Affairs and Revenue, Elizabeth Crowley, President and CEO of Building Trades Employers Association, and Felice Farber, Executive Director, Subcontractors Trade Association. We thank all of you for being here and sharing your insights. They'll discuss the current state of the market, emerging trends, and the collaborative efforts shaping the future of New York's construction ecosystem. It is fitting that as we mark 20 years of this event, we do so by looking forward to new partnerships, new opportunities, and a continued commitment to build a stronger, more sustainable city. Thank you all for being part of this milestone occasion, our 20th annual event. And with that, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, John Fish.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am really honored and privileged to be here this morning. As I look around the room, we've got probably some of the sharpest minds in New York City as well as the country that really have leading the efforts on our construction industry in the nation. So I want to thank you because we all care deeply about the industry. But I think we also know the industry has never been more challenged. And this morning I'd like to discuss 4 things with you. 1, the state of the industry, how we got here, where Suffolk thinks we need to go next, and how are we going to get there as an industry overall. So I'd like to begin by level setting the industry as a whole. In the last 4 or 5 years, construction costs are up 38%. As we all know, construction costs never come down. Unemployment in our industry right now is 0. For every 5 people that retire from the industry, only 2 come in. And people are retiring at an earlier age than they ever have before. The master craftsman in the industry is declining. 25% of the construction industry workforce is immigrants. And we don't have a thoughtful national immigration policy here in America. And it's having substantial impacts on our business. Along with material costs and the impact that tariffs is having on it, both nationally and globally. Then add on that the regulatory issues, entitlements, electrification, sustainability, NIMBYism. And yes, developers do want a return on their capital. We're all in a very, very tough business. And I argue it's not getting any easier. So how did we get here? Last century, the master builder was the preferred method. A respect for the architect. They saw architects as an investment, and blue lines drawings were as accurate and precise as you could get. General contractors back then were the master builder. They self-performed. I'll give you an example that highlights my points. The Empire State Building back in 1931 was built in 13, 14 months, okay? And on schedule and on budget. Yes, there were some safety issues. Today, to build that building, it would take you 5.5 to 6 years. Let's move forward in the 1960s and 70s, when growth and development in the United States became really at an accelerated pace. That commoditization, okay, led to incomplete drawings and uncoordinated drawings and raised the cost of construction across the board. In the 1970s, we transitioned from the master builder to the construction manager. Construction general contractors were willing to take lower rewards for lower risks. GMP contracts and cost plus a fee. CMs turned into paper pushers, then builders. And CMs became the preferred delivery method. Just ask Carl Morse from Morse Diesel. He probably was the grandfather of that delivery method. Moving on to the 1980s to 1990s, the trend continued. And we had a risk and reward misalignment at the end of the day. You had new divisions of material and labor introducing 30 subcontractors on one project, all wanting to make their own profits, and all adding to the increased profit pool on a project. Today, as a result, 77% of construction projects are delivered late, especially mega projects. 12% of all construction work today is rework, errors and omissions. The quality has suffered in the race to the bottom for additional construction fees. And relationships continued across the board today to be compromised. I argue nobody is winning. I think we all can agree the pendulum has swung too far, and it must swing back. I refer to this solution and this strategy as the master design builder. Delivering construction services through a seamless platform infused by AI and data. Let me walk you through the seamless platform process. Suffolk Design. The introduction of AI for design, establishing geometric and dimensionally correct drawings with intelligent and coordinated set of drawings, introducing a culture of collaboration rather than blame, precise drawings driving lower construction costs and less rework. Move from the design to the pre-construction process. Edify is a solution we developed over the last 7 years, is a commercially based solution in pre-construction. It's a cloud-based estimating platform. It accurately quantifies and volume assesses the entire building envelope, along with historical and unit price packages. It's a comprehensive scope and pricing based on real data derived from a clean data lake. And you have complete cost transparency, means more accurate planning and more accountability on the schedule. Let me move from the pre-construction on this platform to procurement. Freedom Source, a supply chain management company, purchasing off-intelligent set of drawings with clear specifications and quantities. Direct purchasing from the source, so you're eliminating the middleman. It drives schedule and quality certainty, we all can agree, at a lower cost. Now let's introduce the cousin of supply chain, which I refer to as OSM, off-site manufacturing. Modular failures over the last 100 years have polluted the idea of modular construction. During the 20th century, Sears, Roebuck, and other companies delivered housing in a package. It no longer existed today because of regulatory requirements and environmental issues. In the 21st century, we got hit hard by many bankruptcies in modular companies, and the poster child of that bankruptcy is Katera. I believe smart modularization can work. My term I use is componentization. Off-site manufacturing of certain components of the built environment. Building components that lower cost and improve quality. I'll give you an example. We're doing a $1.2 billion job for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, the New World headquarters in Boston. The entire mechanical room is being manufactured off-site and delivered to the project. Think of modularization or componentization as a Lego set. You're not componentizing the entire building, you're taking the pieces of the building that can be done off-site with a much more cost-effective solution, with a better controlled environment, and delivered to the site as Lego sets and put together. It's going to change the dynamic of how we build. And it's incorporated into the base design with Suffolk Design. Off-site manufacturing now, as we continue on the continuum, on the CNS platform, think about scheduling. Edge is a scheduling tool, short-term planning tool, that we developed 5 years ago. We sold it to Procore. Procore, it was the #1 product that launched 6 months ago, called Edge, short-term planning tool. It's infused by artificial intelligence. Think about Waze on your phone. When you push Waze, it gives you alternative means to get to your destination. Think about AI-infused solutions that provide optionality in the built world. When you're building a large project for $1 billion or $2 or $3 billion, you're looking to resequence a critical path. That could take a week to 10 days. With AI-infused scheduling, it could take 4 or 5 hours and give you much more deeper thinking that human beings are capable of thinking about. 4 hours versus 4 days. Time in our industry, as we all know, is money. Optimal scheduling will save both time and money. Let's move on the seamless platform from the scheduling solution to self-perform. We need to be able to manage and control the movement and efficiency of labor on the job site. In order to do that, we have to track the movement of that labor to create that efficiency. And using productivities like open space, which is a GPS tool on a job site, you're able to track things. And I argue if you can't measure it, you can't manage it at the end of the day. Visual observations compared to the contract drawings, to open space, to the actual contract drawings, is going to provide tremendous insight into increased productivity. Now let's talk about very important issues, sustainability and commissioning in the built world. We built a building at Boston University, the Jenga building, one of the #1 buildings in the world this past year and a half. Massive building, $400 million job, computerization. When we turned the building over, the property management group did not want to use the geothermal system in the building because it was so complicated. It wasn't about the geothermal, it was about the system complexity. Nobody thought about that day one when they designed the building. How do we think about introducing sustainability, components, initially in the design, and the same thing with commissioning day one? Lower cost substantially and lower efficiency tremendously. Let's move now from post-construction to property management. Suffolk Properties. Who better to manage a building than the builder? Adding value after the building is turned over. A model with one source of truth for facility managers, complete with a building management system with audio and sensor solutions. In the future of building management is remote staffing at the end of the day, all done digitally. Lastly, how do we as an industry continue to innovate? It's at the core of what we need to do as an industry. Two things we are doing at Suffolk. Suffolk Technology. It's the #1 technology venture capital firm in the country right now. We have invested in over 58 startups over the last 3 years. And we're in the process of raising Fund 2, which is $250 million, to follow on with Series B and Series C. We've got some firms in this room here that we've invested in. The success of that has been very helpful. The reason being, if you think about it, we're about a $9 billion business. We have approximately 150 sites around the country in 36 different states. Think of those sites as test beds. What better to bring a startup and a solution to a job site, working with the team there and determining whether that job site and that solution works or not works. The good thing about the built world, solutions, unlike wine, fail quickly. They don't get better with age. You figure that out at the end of the day. Second, we have an accelerator. If people are familiar with Y Combinator, we have analogous to Y Combinator in the built world called Boost, if you go online. We take companies, applicants all over the planet. We narrow it down. The project's going, so I know it reasonably well. And third, process. The biggest burnout in construction, people in the industry 2 to 4 years, young people, is doing punch lists and requisitions and job drawings. Can we take a look at that process and improve upon it by leveraging AI? So the idea is we're setting up 8 of these job sites of the futures around the country in different categories, and then we're going to take those 3 different buckets of knowledge and combine them together. That I just broke ground on a $40 billion AI center in Boston, no disrespect, That's our headquarters. And all that information on those different job sites will be digitally transported into our AI command center. And the idea is, how can we take those different activities and simplify them in a simple process, that allows us to alleviate labor and lower costs on job sites at the end of the day. I can't sit here and tell you that we have all the answers to the challenges that confront the built world. I will tell you something. The American dream today is lost. First time in our careers, everybody in this room. Your son or daughter cannot buy a home unless it's supplemented or subsidized. If we don't, as an industry, figure a way to recreate that dream for the future Americans, I have a deep concern about the democratic state of this economy, of this country. Everybody deserves to be able to live the American dream. Home ownership is probably the most important one. You take home ownership away from people, they can't live the dream. And why that is so important. Net worth in America today, over the last 100 years, 70% of it comes from one's home. So I stand before you and say thank you. We don't have all the answers, but we're putting our best foot forward. My ask is to join us. It's an honor and privilege to be here. I want to thank you, and I want to close by saying this. I want to thank you for welcoming our company here, Suffolk, for the last 10 years to work in New York City, being involved in projects like the Wall of Astoria, 527th Ave, the Torch, other magnificent buildings. Would not have happened ever if we didn't have the opportunity to have the doors open for us. And the way we've been treated here is nothing but the highest anywhere in the country. So God bless you, God bless this country, and God bless New York City. Thank you very much.